So yesterday I put online the video of the BEMEWS reaction that we did, which I think you'd agree is pretty spectacular in terms of the long-lived water spheres. Again, only a few seconds. You can see here that they actually collapse within a few seconds and start running out of the hand. But a few seconds you can lift them out of the water. And we did it with some borax laundry detergent, some white vinegar, table salt, the bemused catalyst, and the rare earth magnetic sphere that we stripped the surface off with the vinegar, white vinegar, to initiate the catalysis, and using that copper catalyst, 1 minute to prepare, 24 hours of time, and we got spectacular water spheres. Today I was going to go through the synthesis of the bemused catalyst. Of course, yesterday was April Fool's, so everything that I showed, described, explained, probably didn't catch many of the chemists, but might have caught some of you who aren't so skilled in the domain of chemistry. I was throwing out all types of terms, and I'm sure that some of you weren't caught at all, but I have experience of actually catching people with some of this stuff. And let's say it all started with a YouTube video a couple of years ago that was online, and it had over 2 million views. That's at present 2 million views and 11,000 likes. It's got some very interesting comments laid over this substance, not even spelt correctly, of course. So be it, that happens a lot. Its polar ability sticks to itself, transforming into solid water spheres. I first saw this a couple of years ago, and I wanted to work with my kids to show them that things can be quite fun. I actually went a little further. I actually blogged about it and said it was a well-done scientific host called Water Marbles, and embedded the YouTube in here. It's my most popular blog post ever. It's the most comments that I've ever received on anything, and clearly some people who commented hadn't read the blog post. They actually went off and repeated it and said, "Oh, it's terrible, it didn't work." I've had a little bit of thrashing over the fact that I put this up. It got picked up and put onto Pinterest, and it's massive traffic. It's massive. But I did repeat it with my children and said, question everything you see on YouTube, understand that things can be doctored, understand how movies are made, and understand that people can fool you. So how was the work actually done? Well, it was done with something called jelly marbles. You can buy these online. Just do a search on jelly marbles. You'll find them. Steve Spengler Science is where I saw some of these in order to do this experiment at my children's school. It's a lot of fun. You've probably seen these also in the base of vases in Europe, or vases in America, where they're coloured and they drop flowers into them, and they are based on polyacrylamide, cross-linked polyacrylamide, which picks up an awful lot of water. It absorbs about 300 times its weight, and these spheres go from being tiny little hard crystals, if you like, so they're very small, a couple of millimeters across, to being about an inch across. They are enormous. A lot of fun. This is the Wikipedia article. You can go read about it. Very, very highly water absorbent. Of course, yesterday when I was talking about the bemused catalyst, I randomly threw this comment around about I would be talking about the bemused catalyst that assists dissolution, helps initiate aggregation. I threw a lot of terms around yesterday in my first video. Of course, BEMEWS stands for boron enhanced magnetic extension of water spheres, which is just all made up. But yes, it was all about bemusing you. Hopefully some of you got some amusement out of it, even if you knew it was junk science. Hopefully you enjoyed the intention of the April Fool's joke. April 1st science, of course, is mainstream. If you want to see a fun one, go read this particular journal article that you'll find online. Just do the search on apoptotic gene therapy in the interdigital web. There immediately we have some terminology that most of you probably wouldn't understand, except for the scientists maybe. Apoptotic gene therapy, interdigital web. Well, what does that mean? Well, what they're trying to do is modify so that you end up with these little flaps of skin between the fingers. Reads very well. Go read the article. You'd probably be very confused by some of it. but you only have to read a little bit further to realize that this person with these webbed fingers, his name is "Oh my God, I swim fast." And of course, if you had webbed fingers like that, then of course you would swim fast. Then it was done, the work was done with the collaboration with Professor Something Wong, and clearly there is something wrong. And he's a fugitive for the North Korean university. Who you hiding? Who knows who they're hiding? Excellent article, really well written, genius, fun to read. Purely, we believe, an April 1st joke. Who nobody's told us different. So of course communicating science can confuse, and there's lots of terminology that I threw out yesterday in the movie that some people may have been taken in by just throwing in random words: dendrimeric growth, multi-generational layered extension via copper catalyzed boron seeding, blah 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 blah. Now I actually do some very interesting chemistry. I'm actually a cheminformatician, and I need to figure out how to communicate to people what I do, to children, to teachers who are not chemistry teachers, to relatives, parents, friends. And for many of us as scientists, we need to make sure that the jargon of our domain doesn't confuse people. So learning a better way to communicate science to the public is something that's directly of relevance. Very shortly I'm on my way to the ACS meeting, the American Chemical Society meeting in New Orleans, and for any of you out there who will be attending that meeting, I would like you to come and learn how to communicate science from this gentleman. His name is Brian Malow. He's the self-defined Earth's premier science comedian. He's local here now. He's in Raleigh, North Carolina. He will be in the ACS New Orleans meeting, and he will be giving a talk called Science Comedian's Guide to Communicating Science. And that said, if you're there, please show up. And if you want to hear Brian giving some guidance on just science and comedy, do a search on YouTube. I think you will enjoy his work. For those of you I offended with my April 1st joke, my sincere apologies. For those of you who enjoyed it, I'm glad you took it as intended. And be careful. Be careful about everything you see on YouTube. You just never know.